me first start by saying Atlantic Beach never disappoints. We have been doing these candidate forums for almost 10 years now, and Atlantic Beach still holds the world record for the best turnout for candidate forums. And you guys are awesome. So we want to thank you all for being here tonight, because this is what you need to be doing. You need to be learning about the candidates so you can make an informed decision. So first of all, let me start off by saying, if you have any cell phones, please turn your cell phones off or put them on vibrate. That includes the candidates. There are some chairs in the back too, if anybody needs a seat. I want to thank you all for attending tonight's forum, and I also want to thank the candidates for being here. In case you don't know about our organization, Beaches Watch is a nonprofit and a nonpartisan civic organization, and we were founded in 2004. Our mission is to educate and engage citizens in the issues that are coming before our elected officials. And we do things like these candidate forums. We have monthly meetings with speakers. And I also want you to know too that because we are nonpartisan and we are nonprofit, we do not endorse candidates, but we bring you these candidate forums so you can make your own decision about who you would like to have representing you at City Hall. Before you leave tonight, I want to encourage you to stop by our Beaches Watch table. We've got some brochures. You can learn a little bit more about our organization. We'd like to ask you to sign up for our email list, because then you can get information about forums and other things that we're doing in the community. And we also invite you to consider joining Beaches Watch. It's only $10 for an individual membership, or $15 for a family membership. Also, when you arrived here tonight, you should have gotten a program. I hope everybody got one. And I want to point out a few things on the program. We have asked the candidates for their responses to some written questions. And tonight after the forum, you will be able to go to our website and see their responses to those written questions. Also, the candidates' biographies and their websites are on our website as well. So we hope you'll go to our website. Also, on the back of the program is the questions that we ask the candidates to answer in writing. So that'll give you an idea of some of the information that you can get if you go to our website. Now, tonight's forum is going to last about an hour and 15 minutes, and all the candidates are going to have 2 minutes for opening statements, 2 minutes to answer the questions, and 2 minutes for closing statements. There will not be time allocated for rebuttals, but the candidates can rebut something that's said in their 2 minutes in a subsequent response. If you do have any audience questions cards, please have them turned in now, because we don't want them turned in during the forum. We don't want to interrupt the candidates while they're speaking. Please understand that due to the limited amount of time, we will not be able to ask all the questions. But we do hope that you'll stay and talk to the candidates after the forum, because they will be here. Their tables are in the back. You can get candidate literature back there, and you can talk to the candidates one-on-one after the forum. So let me start by introducing our candidates for tonight. We have our mayor candidates are Mitch Reeves, and Carolyn Woods. And then on this side, we have our C4 candidates are Tim Anderson and James Hill. And then our seat 5 candidates are Jonathan Doherty and Mitch Harding. The order that the candidates are going to be answering tonight's questions was determined prior to the forum, and the order will be rotated, so no single person will be answering any question first or last every time. So, to begin with, we are going to start with seat 4, And Mr. Hill is going to take the question first. And actually, this is an opening statement, but we want to ask you to tell us in your opening statement, take a moment to introduce yourself, explain why you're running for this office, and briefly describe your experience and qualifications for the position.
Thank you very much. Good to be first. Jimmy Hill, lived in Atlantic Beach for 30 years, raising my family here. Hi, is that a little better? Right there. Okay. Jimmy Hill, living in Atlantic Beach now for going on 30 years, actually a little over 30 years. I was a firefighter for 28 of those years, right here at the fire station on the corner. I am raising my family. My two boys, Skylar and Tyden, and my wife, Della, are here in the audience, and I want to thank them for letting me, actually helping me do this more than anything. One of the things that I think is most important to everyone in this audience is, why am I running? What am I here for? And I'm here because I've watched this community change and develop, get better, get worse, and we're in a worse cycle right now. I'm motivated by the need to get a little bit more stability in the way that we're developing. Okay, they can hear me in the back now. The community is changing a little bit. You can feel it at City Hall, you can feel it during the commission meetings. The culture of our community has changed a little bit, and it's motivated me to come up here and to try and get this seat. My qualifications are, I know every nook and cranny of this city. I've been to most of the major flooding issues. I understand the system as well as anybody does. I have a background in business. I've been a businessman my entire life on top of being a firefighter, so now I have 56 extra hours a week since I've retired from that position to dedicate to something else. So, not that the kids weren't enough to put that time into, but this is something that's really important for them too. So the thing that's keeping me motivated on this is that I think I can make things better, and that's probably the key thing. I think I understand things well enough to make them better, and I look forward to serving. And I also will keep the community very much involved in the process, and that's one of the other big motivators is the citizens have been sort of disconnected, and I want to make sure that doesn't continue. So thank you very much. I hope you'll vote for me on the 27th of August. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tim Anderson. I'm also running for seat 4 here in Atlantic Beach. Quickly before I get into myself, I took the liberty to print out all of my answers to the questionnaire. It is on my table in the back. I'd love for you all to take it, read through the questions. There's a limited form and a limited amount of time tonight, so I think we can more fully dive into those questions. Again, my name is Tim Anderson. I've been a proud resident of Atlantic Beach for some time now. I have a 1, a 3, and a 5-year-old, and a beautiful wife. And I truly and honestly believe that we live in the greatest city in the world. It's a partisan crowd, obviously, on that issue. And I also, like my opponent, we share the same goals. We just nibble around how to accomplish them. We do need to incrementally make Atlantic Beach better. We have become a destination for success in Duval County, St. Johns County, Nassau County. People want to live in Atlantic Beach, and we need to embrace that. This upward trajectory that we currently enjoy can be improved with a stronger Selva Marina, or Atlantic Beach Country Club as it's going to be called, continuing to embrace Fleet Landing and the greatness that it is, developing the west side of Atlantic Beach and the Mayport corridor, and being more business friendly and bringing more businesses to the Atlantic Boulevard corridor. Briefly, my background, I am a financial consultant right now. I have practiced law in the past and continue to have a bar card. And I worked on Capitol Hill for Andrew Crenshaw and then John Mica. And on top of that, I was a PricewaterhouseCoopers auditor. So I have a varied background that I think qualifies me for this position. But mainly, I just really want to serve the constituents of Atlantic Beach and continue to have a great place to raise my children. Thank you.
Hi there. Can everybody hear me? Okay, wonderful. I just want to start off, first of all, by thanking you. I stood up here 4 years ago, and I was about as nervous as I am now. And, you know, I actually have gone through here, and I've met people who told me, I voted for you last time, I'm going to vote for you again. And that means so much to me. I really appreciate it. Who am I? I come from Springfield, Missouri, middle of the Middle West, about 60 miles from the exact middle point. I grew up in a very poor family. I was able to move here after college, and I got a job in Jack's Beach. I worked for a developer, ran Beach Plaza. I learned commercial development. I was able to buy my first home here in Atlantic Beach, and I was so proud of my first home. I moved over, I don't know if you know the area, just a little bit west of Mayport Road, a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And the night I moved in, I realized I was living next to a drug house where they were selling drugs. It was bad because I couldn't leave. I had a mortgage, and so I had to fight. So what I did is I did what everybody does. I called the police department. I called my elected officials. Not much got done. Somebody said, if you don't like it, run for office. So I did. I lost miserably. I lost miserably my first time, but I was able to get Carolyn Woods and Paul Parsons and a lot of other people over there and kind of show what was happening in my neighborhood. 2 years passed, we had another election, and I won. It was great. And the results have been great. We've had 31% reduction in crime. Life is better in my area of Mayport Road there. And I think Atlantic Beach as a whole is a better place. And I just thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to work in the city. And I pray that you'll vote for me and give me a chance to do it again. Thank you.
Good evening. This is quite overwhelming. My name is Mitch Harding. I'm running for seat 5. I grew up here at the beach. I graduated Fletcher in 1980. My family's lived here at the beaches for probably 40, 50 years. After graduating Fletcher in 1980, I served 24 years in the Air Force. I went into the Air Force right out of high school. Served both overseas and ended up my time in the Air Force Reserves in Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi. Retired in 2008 as a first sergeant. Concurrently, in 1990, I started my law enforcement career. I worked with the Biloxi and Gulfport Police Department on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. In 2008, we decided to move my family back here after 3 years of building after Katrina. We decided to move back here with my beautiful wife, Tori, and my daughter, and we decided we wanted to raise my daughter in the same environment that I was raised in. So we found a nice house on the west side of Mayport Road. Needed a lot of work. I had to deal with City Hall on numerous occasions. Permits, it was a less than acceptable experience. So after seeing the lack of customer service, seeing the lack of representation for the west side of Mayport Road, I decided to do something about it, and I decided to get involved. I think that the citizens should be involved in the decision-making process. I think that the only way to do that is for the representative to be a true representative and be available, and that's going to increase the confidence in our city government, which definitely needs to happen. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you will vote for me on the 27th of August.
Good evening. I want to thank Beaches Watch for having us here tonight, and most of all, I want to thank everyone in this room for taking the time to come out, because I'd love to see the other 9,000 people that can vote in Atlantic Beach to get involved in this election, because it's a shame that only 28% will vote, and it's a right, and you should do it, so I applaud you for showing up. My name is Mitch Reeves. I'm married to Martha Marshall. I have a daughter that's 19 years old. I have 3 dogs, Charlie, Barney, and Bailey. Barney is a blind dog, 13 years old, and I rescued him from Atlantic Beach He is the only dog who can get out of a fenced-in yard, and I had to buy a new fence. The other one don't know how to get out. But anyway, I came up, I've been involved with experience in the government. I started my first job in law enforcement, and I worked my way up from patrolman to detective to director of community affairs. And then I moved and got appointed by the governor of the state of Mississippi, the youngest appointee to run a state agency. I ran the Mississippi Boat and Water Safety Commission. After that, we had a reorganization, and the governor asked me to move over to the Department of Wildlife and make some organizational changes and restructures. I had 240 officers reporting to me, and almost 80% of them were old enough to be my father. But I was successful in that. And then I moved on, and that was 30 years ago, and since then I've moved into the business world. And I've learned the business world. So I moved in the business world, and I've been involved here for the same company for 13 years. I'm involved in the community. I'm the chairman of the Save the Ferry. I've been involved in saving the ferry. I'm a president of the the president of the Beaches Exchange Club. And I believe that if you elect me mayor, I can strengthen the community and enrich the neighborhood spirit.
Hello, how's everyone out there tonight? Doing good? I am very happy to be here, and I want to thank Sandy as well and Beaches Watch for putting on this organization, this forum, and thank all of you for coming out tonight. And I especially really want to thank all of you for helping me out. I have been in Atlantic Beach since 1987, worked on different committees and boards through the years for the past 20 years. Was on the inaugural beautification committee that Bill Gulliford started a bunch of citizens committees, and they've done wonders for the community. I went from there to the Community Development Board, and from there to the City Council, City Commission. I'm serving my second term now. We did a lot of good work since I've been on the City Commission. Yes, I did go and visit Jonathan's neighborhood, took a bike ride over there, and was propositioned within 5 minutes. We can laugh about it now, but it was not fun at the time. So when I got on the commission, we got together, we made that our strategic priority to clean up the Mayport Road corridor, and we've made a lot of really good success, really good. As Jonathan pointed out, the crime rate is down quite a bit. There were a couple of slumlords over there that had 50 and 60 houses, and we've gotten them to clean up their properties and move all those druggies out of there, so it's been really good. The reason why I really want to thank you, and I'm glad that you're here that I can, is we had an election 2 years ago, and you elected some new commissioners that have worked very well with me to help open up our government and be more responsive and to us as citizens. I'm always representing you as citizens, and I appreciate your support so I can continue to do so. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start with a question for Mr. Harding. And it'll go, I guess everybody's got their sheet, right? So Mr. Harding and followed by Mr. Doherty. In your opinion, what are the most important issues facing the city of Atlantic Beach, and how would you propose to address them?
Well, I think the most important issues is the lack of confidence in the city government, the lack of action on the part of the city government. I feel that the administrators are out of touch with the needs of the citizens and have, as such, forgotten what their true purpose for being there is, and that's to be there to support the citizens. I would, the biggest thing that I can see, obviously, we have a police building issue, and I'm going to bring it up, that has been unable to be solved in 6 to 8 years. There's been numerous proposals put out there. However, because of the lack of efficiency, the lack of effectiveness of the commission, there's not been any decisions made. And yet they keep spending taxpayer dollars, doing surveys, analysis, studies. But when you don't make a decision, you might as well just burn that money. And that's your money and my money. I would suggest, with my leadership that I attained in both the military and law enforcement, that we be able to work together to make these things a reality and make those important decisions that need to be made. And thus, improving the confidence that you, the citizens, have in your city government. Thank you.
Life in Atlantic Beach is wonderful. I got to be honest with you, I love living here. I think, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? All right, sorry about that. Life here in Atlantic Beach is wonderful. I think Atlantic Beach is the best place on earth to live. We have a small town mentality here outside a big city, and I love it. Do we have challenges? Yeah, we do. Like every small city, I have our troubles with our neighbors, and we have our disagreements, but I think at the end of the day, we all come together and we realize we're neighbors. The biggest problem facing Atlantic Beach right now is with one of our neighbors, is Jacksonville. Jacksonville is kind of like the big bully on the street sometimes. And one of the things I've been able to do as a commissioner is I've been able to fight the bully a couple times. One thing, for instance, is the library. Mayor Brown, in his infinite wisdom, decided to propose closing the library. I immediately got on the phone with every single councilman I know down there in Jacksonville, and I called them and I said, don't do it. I went down to the Jacksonville Commission, and it just happened to be Mr. Gulliver's first night there. Sorry about that, Bill. But I stood there with the interlocal agreement, and I said, we have a contract. You cannot close the beach's library. I was the only commissioner from all 3 beach cities to go to that meeting. We also have a problem with Jacksonville looking at us as a source of revenue. And my job as a commissioner is to protect the citizens and protect the taxpayers of our city. We have 0 fee increases and 0 taxes this year, but yet Jacksonville's charging us 1.5 mils more. Another thing we have, obviously the police building. Go back to my table, you'll see a plan that shows a 4,000 square foot addition to the building. I proposed it in strategic planning. The reason there hasn't been a decision is because the wrong decisions were being made. And me and other people stood up and said, we can't have it in Jack Russell Park. We need to keep it on the side that it is. We don't need a $5 million, $4 million, whatever $1 million building. We need a small building that services the people. Thank you.
I believe every issue that we have in Atlantic Beach always comes down to quality of life. And the only way that we can maintain the great quality of life that we all have here in Atlantic Beach and love and want to preserve and protect is to make sure that we have sound fiscal conservative policies. Some people think that we did not make a decision on the police building. We did. We decided we did not want a almost $5 million police building in the busiest park we have. As a matter of fact, we finished our budget workshops last night, and during that discussion, we decided we would bring the police building up for discussion at the next commission meeting. We're ready to tackle it again. We only have so much staff, and they only have so much time, and we had a couple of other issues we needed to work on the past few months. One was the budget, and we do have a balanced budget with no increased fees or taxes. And the other was the Selva Marina redevelopment. It actually took quite a bit of staff's time. It took a lot of time with the Selva people. There are 3 things that we made sure happened in that reorganization plan. One, back me up on this please, Bill. It looks like we are going to be able to annex the Selva Marina property into the city of Atlantic Beach so that we will recoup tax revenues for all the issues that are going to come with it. 2, the golf course, the property that is the golf course will have a conservation easement on it, conservation recreation easement for in perpetuity, forever. So all of those things work towards protecting our quality of life. The next thing we need to do is phase 2 of the Mayport Corridor Improvement Program is the business corridor improvement plan so that both Atlantic Boulevard and Mayport Road see major improvements. Thank you.
Let's talk about the issues a little bit. The number one issue for our city to look at is the interlocal agreement. It's the bottom line. It's the most important thing. And what we need to do with that is we need to make sure City Hall and the County Council understands and defines what's in that agreement. That's the problem. Nobody has defined it, what's in the agreement. If I'm elected, I will work with the City Council President, Bill Gulliford, who, by the way, was the past mayor of Atlantic Beach, who sued the city to cause the interlocal agreement to go into effect, and he has endorsed me as a candidate. He knows he can work with me. I know I can work with him. That's what it's going to take. The other issues that we have to face is the pension. And we do. The pension is a serious thing. We need to look at that. But we cannot solve that on a local level. We have to do it in Tallahassee. And we have to be able to open up the doors, call on the telephone to Senator Bean and Representative Atkins and have access to those people and talk to them. And I have that access to work with them. That is important to Atlantic Beach. Now let's talk about the police building real quick. I don't think the police building is an issue. Let me say what it is. It is a decision-making proposition. It has been going on 8 years, 4 administrations, 6 of these people have served on there, and nothing has been done. Nothing. And let me surprise you. It is not a $5 million issue, has not been one since June of 2012. It's 3.1 to 3.8. Please, read the facts and don't believe all the literature and what you hear.
I believe there are 2 overarching pressing issues here in Atlantic Beach. The first is the relationship between 2 very divided group of citizens. We have an establishment and we have an anti-establishment. And I am a member of neither. I am Tim. I bring no resentment to the table. I have no ulterior motive. And I'm not fighting to win this election to effectuate any kind of vendetta that I might have or anybody else might have against elected officials here in Atlantic Beach. We need to bring both sides together. It really is getting old for everybody to read about. It's getting old that everybody's talking about it. We need to bring both sides together so that we can continue what I said before, the great trajectory this city is on. The second is 2 major projects, the Selva Marina Country Club project and the police building project. The Selva Marina Country Club project, I believe, is almost finished when it comes to planning. And I'm excited about it. We are going to revitalize a major asset here in Atlantic Beach, and it's going to improve everybody's lives. There were concerns. I believe those concerns were addressed. If concerns rise in the future, those will be addressed as well. So I think we should all be very excited about that plan. And quite frankly, the developer who has committed to build the houses in Atlantic Beach Country Club to the standards that we currently have here in Atlantic Beach, and not those less restrictive standards in Jacksonville. And quickly on the police building, I don't think you need to bring it up right now. We have an election going on. Let's wait till the election is finished. Let's let the electorate decide who's got the best ideas for the police building. Don't try and fail again. Let's get some new blood into the City Commission and allow this issue to finally be tackled. Thank you.
Hello, neighbors. I hate to say it like this, but there's no other way to say it. You got to be here long enough to understand why there's a divide. And the divide centers around one thing. There's a group of people that want to head one direction. There's a group of people that want to head another. And I too think that we can cross the boundaries and get everybody on the same page. But let's start here. One of the biggest issues, directly to the question, is the police building. And we should talk about it because it has nothing to do with the building. It has everything to do with what we expect as citizens from a police department. What our goals are as a citizen group for our police department. And I want, and I said this the other day, and it seemed to be not a bad way to say this, I want less seats in swivel chairs and more butts in police cars. We do not need a large bureaucratic building to build a bureaucracy that we do not need. And it is one of the biggest reasons I'm running. I genuinely couldn't believe I saw it. I worked under the roof of that building for 28 years. The building itself is fine. What is wrong with it? Does it not suit our police needs? If that's the case, let's address it from that angle. Let's not go at it from how many square feet can we buy? How many square feet do we need? That's what we should be asking. What are our goals as a police department? What do we expect as citizens? I want to see a police officer come down my street and say hello to me. And I want to know who he is because he's not there for less than 4 months and already gone to Jacksonville. So that's my goal, is to establish what we really want as a small town community and shoot from that position. We don't want to go at it from how much can we afford. It's insane. If your home had sheetrock issues and your home had other minor issues, you wouldn't level it and start over. You would work from there and try and get it right. So that's one issue. The pension issue is a big issue. We have unbelievably qualified citizens in the audience that have been trying for some time to get the attention of the City Council, to listen to them with real solutions. These are experts in the field who've been ignored. Again, back to the community. There are people in this community that are trying to help this commission and this administration do a better job. We should plug some of those people in, listen to what they're saying, and maybe adopt some of their ideas. Short time, but that's all I had to say. Thank you.
For this next question, we're going to start with the mayor candidates, and Mr. Reeves will start off. If you could implement one change in the way things are currently being done by the city, what would that be? And please elaborate.
I think one of the most important things is our city council has to operate where our city commission has to operate where you respect each other. And what I mean by that, you respect the opinions of each and every one of the elected officials that people elect. I'm a type of leader that I'm a decisive leader. I'm not a divisive leader. I'm a leader that wants to take you to the next step. And what I would like to see with the city council is, if I'm fortunate enough to be your mayor, is I promise to you a common sense government where I will listen to every commissioner, his views or her views, whoever they may be, and we will debate it out like we're supposed to do. But I will also encourage them, if you lose you should fight for whatever you believe in. You should fight. And I would, if I'm elected, I hope they challenge me on everything. I hope they challenge me. But when they do, once that we vote and you lose, move on. Get over it. Stop whining. Okay? Let's move on and get the business done because the people elected you to make a decision, good or bad. You're the people. If a person makes enough bad decisions, you'll kick them out the next time. If they make good decisions, you'll keep them. But you elect your officials to make decisions and not act like a homeowners association. Okay? You do need the feedback from the citizens. Absolutely. Citizens are so important. So important. But you can't keep putting it on the citizens to make every decision. You have to stand up. You have to stand up and make that decision as each of you have been voted to for you.
Well, that is definitely somewhere where my opponent and I disagree. I think making good decisions is much more important than just making a decision to get it made. I started out by thanking you guys for helping me. The last election we had 2 commissioners that you voted out of office. They have decided on a great big huge police building, and the community didn't want it. So we waited until they were off. You voted them out of office, you got more new people in, and they've made the good decision not to build that huge building. So, thank you. I guess if there's one thing that I would really like to see the way the government operates a little bit differently. First, let me tell you, since the last election, we have changed the way the government communicates with its citizens. One, we're instigating video streaming of our commission meetings. Now, I know you're not sitting around going, woohoo, we get to watch the commission meeting. That's just not going to happen. But if you want to watch it, if you want to know what was said or what was done, the record will be there for you to see. We have instigated a portal on the website so that you can search our city records without having to go through the city clerk, saving a lot of time and money on both ends. We have reorganized our commission meetings. Used to be we would get an agenda on a Wednesday or a Thursday and we'd be voting on Monday. Well, that doesn't give anyone enough time to really know what's going on. So now we still have 2 meetings a month. The first one is a workshop. We discuss everything that's on the agenda. Everybody gets to say their piece and talk about it. And then 2 weeks later, we vote on it. So the whole community has a good opportunity to know what's going on in the city. We've made great progress. I need your help and your support to keep moving ahead. Thank you. She's making us read up here. We don't know who's next. So, Mr. Hill.
Ask the question again, it's a signal way off.
And none of us have our reading glasses.
What did you understand?
Lost my place for a second. I was reading.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
What would I like to change in the way the city operates?
If you could implement one change in the
One
way
change.
things are currently being done by the city.
Absolutely simple, quick question. I would change the culture of the way we're operating. It's a tough thing to answer because it is a little bit subtle, but I would change the culture in the way that we're treating our citizens when they make contact with both our elected officials, and it's getting much better. I will commend the city commission on the camera thing, but there was a very serious period there for a little while where there was a lot of stuff happening that you really had to dig for. And I'll give you a quick example. If you wanted to plan a copy right now of your hurricane plan, and you wanted to leave Jack, understand what our goal is as a hurricane plan, apparently it will cost you $65 because that's what a citizen just paid to get a copy of their hurricane evacuation plan. Because there was secret information in there that had to be deleted, and they had to pay overtime for a law enforcement officer to remove that information. I'm not good with that. If you're happy with that, then everything is hunky-dory. But I got to figure out why that is and what made that happen. So one of my thoughts is, let's figure out what's going on in our city hall. That doesn't sit well with me. So that's a plan that we're all supposed to have for free. I'm not exactly sure why anyone would have to pay anything for it or what's secret about it. So let's figure out what's going on there.
I think everybody on this panel has walked Atlantic Beach quite a bit over the last few weeks, and we really need to change when we have these elections because I think Sunday was the hottest day of the year, and it's great for my weight loss, but it's been tough on everyone. Walking door to door, you really learn a lot. And one of the things that I'm hearing over and over again is a lack of follow-through by our city government. I hear about dead trees that need to be removed. I hear about poison ivy that is threatening children who play under the poison ivy covered dead tree. I hear about, certain dog issues on the beach. I hear about some reckless driving of animal control on the beach. You hear about a lot of things that don't seem to get answered. And I don't think it's necessarily anyone's fault, but it needs to change. One thing that I would do that I think is very simple is put together a Tim Anderson list. It is a list of complaints or suggestions that I get from constituents in District 4 or anywhere in Atlantic Beach, and on a regular basis, be that weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever is efficient, I need to be updated as a representative on those list items and whether or not they have been solved or will be solved in the future. And that way we can determine and make sure as a community that everybody's issues are being raised and hopefully solved. So, thank you.
Jonathan Daugherty. Like I said before, we live in a small town, and like any small town, we have small town problems. And we expect higher levels of service. We expect things to be a little bit better than other places. That's why we moved here. Like was said before, we do have a service issue. There is a culture at City Hall that needs to be corrected. And like Mr. Hill said before, there have been changes in the last couple of years. I've helped out with those changes. I've had conversations, very strong conversations, with top city staff about this culture and what would happen if that culture doesn't improve. We now have a more open government than we've ever had before. I introduced legislation this year that requires, doesn't suggest, doesn't say we'll do it this year and we'll see what we'll do next year. It requires the city commission every single year into perpetuity to have 4 town hall meetings a year. This will allow us to better connect with the community. In addition, we did do the videotaping. Will everybody sit there on their PCs and watch a commission meeting? I hope there's better things to watch on TV. I don't want to sit there and watch it, but you know what it does? It makes the commissioners up there realize that somebody's watching. That we can't get things by in the middle of the night and things can't happen without the citizens knowing. And that is the real value, if nobody watches it. That's the real value of videotaping. So I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what I've done and what I'm going to continue to do when you guys re-elect me and you entrust me with this office. Thank you.
Honest and open government. Small city government that's responsive, receptive to the needs of the citizens, that are in touch with the citizens, that are listening to what the citizens' needs are, and that can make decisions and work together as a team. That's what we need. Everything else will fall into place. Accountability in these department heads, accountability to your elected officials, to the appointed officials, to everybody that works in City Hall. We need to take care of our employees. Attrition rate, and I believe Jimmy Hill said it earlier, we're a swinging door. We bring people in and train them and then they leave and go somewhere else for a couple dollars more an hour. We need to look at that. We need to find out why they're leaving. The bottom line is, you need strong leadership in your city government, in your city commission. You need someone that can make decisions and make the right decisions. And like I said earlier, that's going to improve the confidence that you have in your city government. You're going to re-engage, and you're going to be involved in the decision-making process. That's what's important, is all of you came out tonight because you obviously have a vested interest in your city government and the direction that we're going to go in the next few years. I want to be that representative for you, a true representative that's going to be in tune with you. Thank you.
The next question, we're going to start with Mr. Anderson. This is question number 3. If you're following along in your program, right? Okay, the commission has developed strategic plan priorities to provide guidance as to which projects should be funded in the 2013 and 2014 budget. What would be your funding priority and why?
Parks and recreation is very important. What makes Atlantic Beach unique in every place that I've lived are the number of parks and how much we enjoy the parks and how much as a community we protect those parks. Like I said in my previous comment, I think that we need to direct a little bit more money towards our park service. Maybe even decide whether or not we want to bring that back in-house and handle it within our local government. Beautification is obviously very important. And so that's something that I would really look at, spending a little bit more money than we are now. We do have a balanced budget. We maintain a reserve, which is nice. We're not in financial trouble here in Atlantic Beach, and that's a testament to the prior leadership and the prior commissions that you all have had. Developing the Atlantic Beach corridor and helping to improve the Mayport Boulevard corridor, I believe would be money well spent. But as we've seen downtown, sometimes the best intentions and the money thrown at those best intentions often fails. And I don't want to throw money at an issue. I want to throw money at projects to make Atlantic Beach a better place. So thank you.
The one big, what I would call capital issue that I think needs to be addressed is, and there are many, the Selva project has a certain effect, and there's going to be some stuff involved with the reuse of the wastewater that we've committed some money to. And it seems like it's a good deal. We'll wait and see how it all turns out. It seems on paper like it's good. But the one big issue I think that has to be addressed, that might not be in the budget, but needs to be, is we've actually created a problem on Mayport Road, and I think we should fix that problem first. And that problem is we're slowly choking to death our businesses on Mayport Road because of a DOT Atlantic Beach combination improvement project that leaves absolutely no access for either customers, citizens, or even worse, public safety, without going down, turning around, and adding to the response time. So I think we have to punch some holes in the giant Great Wall of China down the middle of Mayport Road to give our businesses a chance.
We're making progress. The Selva Marina residential development is fast on its way to becoming a reality. I too believe that we need to start working on developing businesses for the Mayport and Atlantic Boulevard corridors. We need to start providing a reason for businesses to want to come to Atlantic Beach and not run them out of Neptune or out of Atlantic Beach. It's important for the financial stability and the financial future for the city of Atlantic Beach. I think that a lot of the businesses that are along the Mayport corridor need to be addressed as far as dilapidated buildings, poorly kept grounds, because obviously Mayport Road is a very heavily traveled corridor, and those are the first impressions a lot of people get of the city of Atlantic Beach if they don't go into the beautiful areas of the inner workings of Atlantic Beach. So I think that we need to start paying attention to business development. We need to start taking care of beautification efforts along the Mayport and Atlantic Boulevard corridors, and find the funding to do that, because it's going to ultimately benefit long-term the city of Atlantic Beach. Thank you.
Sandy, that's a great question. You need to tell me who wrote that question. Whoever you are, thank you. Before I answer the question, though, I just want you guys to look around here and look at this. We have standing room only in this area. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. It's amazing. It's just, I want to take a picture. I want to take a picture right now, but I'm going to answer the question. Who here has ever played the game Sim City when they were a kid or later on? Y'all familiar with it? In the game Sim City, what you do, if you have a neighborhood that's looking bad, you build a park. And all of a sudden, the houses around that park start getting better. It's really that simple. Anderson had it right. The one thing that makes Atlantic Beach special is the amount of parks we have and the programs that we have for our citizens. Some people call it an expense. I call it an investment. Our parks are an investment in our neighborhoods. They're investments in our community. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you again what I did. We have redeveloped Rose Park over on the west side we got the funding this week to be a community park, a place for people to gather. We put a dog park in there. We developed a dog park right here by the Publix. I don't know if anybody's ever been there or not, but it's a wonderful place for our neighbors to gather. I'm going to brag on myself a little bit. This last year, I was able to get a math was wrong. It's $480,000 federal grant, 100% funded. That's going to build a bike path all the way from Ocean Walk, all the way past Atlantic Beach Elementary to Atlantic Boulevard. So our kids have a safe way to ride to school at no cost to our city. I initiated the Marsh Master Plan. I don't know if anybody's ever been over to Dutton Island. It actually took me about a year living over there before I even realized Dutton Island existed. If you haven't gone, go. It's beautiful. I started looking at our city and why are the houses over here so valuable? It's because of the proximity to the ocean. Everybody wants to live near the ocean. I'd like to live near the ocean. But what I realized is I live near the marsh. And I have access to one of the most pristine pieces of land in the country. So I initiated the Marsh Master Plan. There's going to be an investment in our neighborhood over there. And I will continue working on those ways to make Atlantic Beach the most wonderful place to live. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to say it again. Our strategic plan, our financial plan, should always be about our quality of life. The parks are important. They're a very important part. So is public safety. Our police department does a great job. We have the lowest crime rate in the beaches area. Everybody feels safe and comfortable here. We have done a lot of work on the Mayport corridor. And we have made, as a commission, pedestrian and bicycle safety our #1 strategic plan. Jonathan went and found that grant. That's been wonderful. We've developed a 10-year plan for the Marsh Master Plan Park, with a pedestrian path and bicycle path along there that actually connects to the Greenway that goes all the way up to Maine and down to Key West. We have made huge strides in our pension plan unfunded liability. This year, we made that a strategic priority as well. We made real changes to the plan. We reorganized our benefits, and we're making progress to help keep Atlantic Beach financially sound so that we can work on our quality of life and our parks and our public safety. We're also working on, we just finished the budget yesterday. We're working on improving the corridors into our city as well. Along East Coast Drive and along Seminole Road, cleaning up all the cars and parking and everything that's along there, and adding bike lanes for the bikers that like to go a little bit faster than the casual bikers. So thank you very much.
I think planning is very important for any city. And a city that doesn't have a vision, and think about a vision where you want to be 10 to 12 years from now, is a recipe to failure. And you have to set that vision and follow through that vision. The budget is very important in our city. But what's interesting is I've heard commissioners talk up there, when they talk about a budget, they say, oh, we have some extra money in the budget, let's go do this over here, let's go do that. People forget it's a budget. It is not an expense account. It's a budget. Follow the budget. If we don't need to do it, give the money back to the residents. Lower the taxes. Okay? Now, we've got to take care of our parks. We've got to take care of our children. But we talk about different issues. I have to disagree with the candidate in my race when she disagreed with me. I think making decisions are important. And yes, what? I support not making a decision unless it's the right decision. I'd like to see a decision so I can make up my mind if it's right or wrong. I haven't seen that decision-making process. It's important to make a decision. The video, and I support the video and 100%. Because you know why? Because when you video people, they act different. And you're going to be able to see the elected officials that you elected, because you don't go to every meeting. You'll be able to get online and you will see them. And you will either say, I am proud I elected that person, or you would say, what was I thinking? It is a wonderful thing. I just wish we do it on TV because not everybody has internet. You know, so I think it's a fantastic thing. And real quickly, I want to say this. I'm out of time.
Okay, question number 4, we're going to start with Mr. Doherty, and he's raring to go. Okay. What is your opinion of the relationship between the City of Atlantic Beach and the City of Jacksonville? And what, if anything, would you do to improve it?
First of all, Bill, I want to say I love you. You know what? Like I said before, Jacksonville is our neighbor. And just like any neighbor, sometimes they really upset us. Sometimes we love them. Sometimes we go out and we have dinner with them. Sometimes we don't want to talk to them. I think it's very important that we have commissioners in Atlantic Beach who realize that we have a partnership with Jacksonville. That we really need to get along and we really need to work with them. The interlocal agreement is a great document. It's kind of vague though. And I really believe that we need to strengthen and make sure we know it and we follow it. I believe that we can coexist with Jacksonville, and I believe we can prosper with Jacksonville. And just thank you very much.
Times are tough right now, all over. I mean, the budget cuts during the last couple of years, we saw Jacksonville going through their budget, you know, and having to lay off police officers and everything else. So it's tough all over. Do I believe we have an ideal relationship with the city of Jacksonville? It could be better. But we have to work at it. Work at it together. We have to work together. We have to make the important decisions. Let's never shy away from what the truth is. If it's the tipping fees, if it's the interlocal agreement that we need to go back to the table with, you know, we should all be receptive to doing that, to make sure that we're providing you, the citizen of the city of Atlantic Beach, the most bang for your buck, to make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. And, you know, I have no problem paying our fair share, but let's make sure that it is our fair share and that the citizens of the city of Atlantic Beach are being treated fairly. And I think we can foster that relationship with the city of Jacksonville and make things run more smoothly. You know, it's not just a short-term thing. I mean, you know, when I lived here before, there was the beaches, and then there was the towns, and then there was Jacksonville, and then there was the beaches. So it's been that way forever. kind of like the different branches of the military. We love each other, but we hate each other. So, you know, we got to work together to do a job and represent you, the citizen, properly. Thank you.
I think it's a very simple process, very simple. And here's how it's simple. Now, I was endorsed by Charlie Lathan. He's the mayor of Jacksonville Beach. What does that have to do with Atlantic Beach? He can't vote for me. I doubt that he has any relatives here. I don't know how that's going to help. But one thing he does understand is he understands that the three cities are three separate cities, but we're one community. He understands that. I understand that. And by understanding that, that means that each commissioner, and especially the mayor, has to be able to reach out to the other cities and work with them. You have Mayor Pruitt here today, you have Commissioner Taylor, you have Commissioner Wiley, you have some other commissioners that I probably missed, and I'll probably get mad at me later, and I apologize. But you have to start at the beaches first. Then you have to invite the mayor of Jacksonville and his staff, President Golford and his key people. We need to meet on a quarterly basis. We need to discuss things together and try to solve our differences and understand that everybody we need to educate Jacksonville what the beaches is about. We're not a bank to give money. We're hardworking people. Now, I want to cover one thing when I ran out of time a minute ago. I just love it when people take credit for something that they really didn't do. We mentioned the Selva Arena. We mentioned that they're going to annex. We mentioned that they're going to protect that land later so nothing can do with it. They're building under the City of Atlantic Beach Code when most of that is in the city of Jacksonville. And they have gotten nothing from the city. That's the developer wanting to do the right thing for this community. So far the council hasn't really did anything. The next thing is to try to help them out with the the purple pipe. I can't remember my pipes. The purple pipe, brown water, which by the way will bring income to us to sell the water that we're dumping in the St. Johns River. It's a great idea.
As I remember the question, it was about how we get along with Jacksonville.
What is your opinion of the relationship between the city of Atlantic Beach and the city of Jacksonville, and what, if anything, would you do to improve it?
Thank you. Jacksonville has 19 council members. We have 5. Just about every time Jacksonville gets ready to have an election, 1 or 2 of them run on, we need to get a fair share out of the beaches. And they get on the council and they're all ready to come after us looking for more money. They think we all live on the ocean front, we're all made gold. We know that's not true. And what happens is they start to look into it and they read the interlocal agreements, because there is not just one interlocal agreement. Actually, there's a series of agreements that make up the entire thing. And when you look at what is actually written there and you sit down and you start talking about it, a lot of the problems go away. Every once in a while they don't. We've proven ourselves as a beach community that if we need to, we will go to court. But boy, that's expensive and that takes a long time, so we don't want to go there. Right now, we're discussing our tipping fees. And I have looked into the issue. I've read our interlocal agreement that talks about tipping fees and the criteria that needs to be met before Jacksonville can charge them. And I've read the ordinance that Jacksonville set up that establishes the fees for the county. And until Jacksonville renegotiates with Jacksonville Beach so that they have to pay for their garbage, and they rewrite their ordinance so that they're not subsidizing a lot of the people in Duval County, they really legally can't charge us tipping fees. So I'm sure they're figuring that all out. I know our lawyers have figured all that out. Bill Golford's aware of it. And we're just going to sit down and we're going to work it out, and that's how you get along. Just like you get along with anybody else that you do business with. Thank you.
I may be a little too controversial for this job, completely different view of that. It's an agreement, it's an interlocal agreement. It's basically a contract. You have a contract, remember whenever you rented a house, you had a contract with that bad landlord, and he wanted to raise your rent, but you had the contract, so he couldn't raise your rent? We're in a contract. Times are tough, and they're looking at us as a revenue source. I believe we have the upper ground right here. I don't think there's any rush to reopen the interlocal agreement. For the first time in the interlocal agreement, it seems like we might have the high ground for a little while. So we shouldn't open anything. If they force us to, we should be prepared to defend it. For example, we should remind them that Baldwin gets fire service for a fee that's almost a fourth of what we pay for our fire service. There are a lot of things we can stand on to make a very strong case for them to want to keep that agreement completely shut and never open it. The library's in the agreement, we shouldn't have to worry about that. It's saber rattling. It's not that we shouldn't be prepared to defend it, and we should make sure that we have the legal backing with legal and professional legal advice that will make sure that we're on the high ground. But everything that I've seen puts us in a position where we shouldn't be rushing to open a contract where the only thing that can happen is we can lose ground. So we don't have a problem with our relationship with Jacksonville. It's an amazing community. We have a small problem with an administration that's looking at us as a revenue source. But ironically, we do find ourselves politically in a very unique situation. We have the president of Jacksonville City Council more intimately aware of what's going on than anybody has ever been. So I have some faith that we're in a better position than we would ever have been. So as a citizen of Atlantic Beach, I'm not as worried about some of these issues as other people. We have the high ground. Make them come after it if they want to, and they won't, because they know that they can't beat us, because they can't have us do the Baldwin thing. If our fire service costs the same as Baldwin, we'll sit down and rewrite the whole thing. And believe me, it'll be a lot better for all of us in the end of it. So I say we just let them continue doing what they're doing, and let's be prepared to fight if we have to. And I do agree, and this is probably the key point, I agree it needs to be all three beaches together. So what we should do is gather the forces.
One very important specific issue for me is the library. I have a 1, a 3, and a 5-year-old. We check out dozens of books a week. And if the city of Jacksonville takes away our only library at the beach and allows 2 libraries in Mandarin, I think there's a serious, serious issue that we're going to have with them. And I think Bill understands this. You know, the political game is you threaten what is most important to everybody. While they're paying attention to that, you cut what isn't quite as important. That library isn't going anywhere. It can't go anywhere, and I believe it violates the interlocal agreement. But if I am elected, that will be one of my very, very top issues. Now, the non-practicing lawyer in me comes out and thinks about tearing up the interlocal agreement or renegotiating the interlocal agreement. If the city of Jacksonville comes to Atlantic Beach and comes to its commissioners and wants to renegotiate the interlocal agreement, then we need to give up all prior gripes. We need to come to the table without any issues with a tipping fee, without any past due bills. We need to come and set up something that is fair. If the city council doesn't believe in Jacksonville, doesn't believe what we have is fair, then we need to rewrite it. But what is currently in place with a 1.5 or the tipping fee is not going to be paid under my watch. And so in order to, if you believe that's unfair and the rest of the city council downtown believe that's unfair, then I would be willing to reopen the interlocal agreement with that one condition. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to wrap up the forum at this point, and we're going to start with the mayor candidates. And you each get 2 minutes for closing statements. And we're going to start with Ms. Woods.
I love Atlantic Beach. It's such a great place to live, and looking out here at all these friendly faces, it just makes me love it even more. I remember coming in here with the kids. It smelled a lot different back then when they were eating lunches in this room. And I got involved here at the school. I was homeroom mom, I was on the PTA, I was in the SAC committee, worked with Dave. It was all good. I have been involved in this community wholeheartedly ever since I moved here. I am who I am. You can see who I am. I have no hidden agendas. I'm always working for the people to always improve Atlantic Beach and make it better. And that's my promise to you going forward. I'm on your side. I need your support, and I appreciate your help to keep working for you. Thank you very much.
You know, running for office is an interesting thing. You find out a lot of new things about yourself that you didn't know, and then you find out it's just interesting because people tend to make up things. And what the people really should do is what Mr. Wood said in the Beach's Leader article. You should read the facts. You should do your research. You should look into every candidate that's up here and make a wise decision, not a friendship decision. Because this is your city, and you need to do that. I talked to each of you of what I believe, but let me tell you what some people believe in me. There is some people that believe in me. I was endorsed by the Northeast Florida Realtors Association. I was just endorsed by the Jack's Biz Chamber. That's big for the chamber to endorse you. I've mentioned I've been endorsed by a past mayor and a current president of the city council, who we're going to be dealing with a lot this year. And I've been endorsed by many citizens. I think that's important. That shows that people have faith into me, and they believe into me. And I'll leave this with you, because we talked about a movie and we talked about videos a minute ago, and I assure you, I want to be out of here by 9 o'clock because tonight is the premiere of Duck Dynasty, and I want to be home. I want to be home to see that. But let me leave this with you. The opportunity for success lies in the person. The opportunity of success lies in the person, not the job. I am that person, and I can only serve as your mayor if you elect me, and I am asking you to elect me to serve you and be proud when I do serve you. Thank you.
Sandy, I just noticed our teleprompter's broken. Nobody looked. Well, running for office is an interesting experience, and you do learn a lot about yourself that you didn't know before, and it's certainly a growing experience. The neatest thing for me, I started off this campaign telling friends that I was running for selfish reasons. And that selfish reason was really because I have these 3 young children and a wonderful wife, and we live in Atlantic Beach, and I want to live in Atlantic Beach for the rest of my life. I want to continue the greatness that we are enjoying here in Atlantic Beach. And I get criticized for that because of the selfish comment. But what I've really learned in this process is that not only am I running now for my family, but I really believe it's an extended family, because we all in Atlantic Beach, I think we identify with each other. We're unique. We've got this wonderful little part of an island that's been through a great past. I've talked about the past even tonight. Again, like I said in my opening statement, or question 1, what makes us unique and what I think everybody here should be proud of is that the entire panel behind me, including myself, share the same goals for Atlantic Beach. We just quibble on how to accomplish those goals. Tonight, again, is a limited forum. I have printed out every single question and answer to the questions that you sent out previously. You don't have to go to the website, just go to my table. There's much more verbiage in there that we are allowed to say tonight. Finally, in closing, I appreciate you all being here. Seeing this type of political advocacy in Atlantic Beach really, I think, makes us all proud, and it makes it feel worthwhile to us to do this. So if you feel it appropriate, I would love your vote on August 27th, and I appreciate your time again. Thank you.
You know, it's very, very rare that you endeavor to do a project and you have an opponent that most likely will end up a friend. Tim is genuinely a good guy. We've enjoyed the opposition and the run together. I think we both genuinely love our community. I think it shows. The only thing that I have to convince you people of tonight is that one of us understands the community completely, and one of us can serve the community a little better than the other because of that. And that's my goal right this second. I genuinely have studied everything about this community for the better part of 30 years. Being a fireman, you get to sit through hundreds and hundreds of commission meetings, and you watch that process for many years. And I don't know what's more frustrating, being in the back of the room or the front, but I hope to find out soon. One of the things that's really important to me is that you understand that I will serve the community as a whole. I understand, I know where Begonia Road is. I know where all kinds of things that a lot of people in this room might not know where they are just because of my time here. But that doesn't matter. You can be here for a long time. It's understanding what it will take to either maintain it or keep it the way it is or better than it is that matters. So with that said, I'd really appreciate it if you consider voting for me on August 27th for C4. And that's all I have to say this evening, but thank you so much for coming.
Didn't think I was going to get through this tonight. Why should you elect me? I'm not a politician. Had no aspirations of being a politician. But I left the beaches. I'm a proven leader. I didn't serve 24 years in the Air Force and retire as a first sergeant because I was a middle-of-the-road performer. I've always strived for excellence in everything that I've done. As a first sergeant, the first thing they taught us in the First Sergeant Academy was our business was people. That was my job, to take care of my troops, take care of their families. I've been in public service now for 37 years. Started out in Neptune Beach as a junior volunteer fireman. I've served my community, I've served my country, and now I want to serve you, the great citizens of the city of Atlantic Beach. Elect me and I will be a true representative by all means of the word. You'll know who I am, you'll know how to contact me. You can contact me any time of the day or night. I'll be available to you to be your voice, because that's what everybody wants. They want to have their voice heard. And if you elect me on the 27th, I can guarantee you that I will be that voice. I'm not shy, as you can probably tell. I sincerely am passionate about the beaches. I grew up here. I want to protect the beaches lifestyle. That's why I moved my family back here, and that's why I want to serve you, the great citizens of the city of Atlantic Beach. Thank you.
You know what they say? They always save the best for last. Couldn't resist that. First, a bit of housekeeping for the press here. I do not want to open the interlocal agreement. Just want to make sure. I learned a long time ago that anything you might say or think about saying can and will be printed. Why am I running again? We have been able to do some amazing things these last 4 years. I told you in the beginning the reason that I ran for office. There's an old saying, first you run for office and you run from office. And people think I'm crazy for wanting to do this again, but the reason I want to do it again is because I see the changes in my neighborhood. We've cleaned up the crime. 31% reduction in crime in the last 3 years. Did I go out there and arrest myself? No. But we made investments in our community. We increased our code enforcement. We had a conscious effort to make our city better. We started projects. We started investments that are just now taking root, and I want to see them to fruition. That's why I want to serve again. I want to thank each and every one of you each one of you that voted for me the first time and each one of you that's going to vote for me again, to allow me to make my neighborhood a better place to live, make the entire city of Atlantic Beach a place to live. You know this job pays a whole $450 a month? You don't do this for the money. You don't do it for the fame. I'll tell you why I do it. I do it because my neighbor Tatiana the other day came to me. And there's a sidewalk that I was able to get in our neighborhood. And she came up to me and thanked me. She said, Jonathan, thank you for getting me that sidewalk so me and my kids do not have to walk in the street when we walk down the road. That is the best reward. I go to the dog park in the morning and I see the people there walking their dogs and talking to their neighbors. And I see the community that's growing within us. And it makes me proud of what I do. My name is Jonathan Gardy. I thank you so much for the opportunity to serve you, and I thank you for the opportunity to serve you again. Thank you.
Please join me in thanking all the candidates for participating tonight. And let me just say a few other thank yous too real quickly, make a few announcements. I want to thank the Beaches Watch volunteers who helped organize this candidate forum. I also want to thank the Atlantic Beach Elementary School PTA and the Atlantic Beach Elementary School for allowing us to have this forum today. Also, too, I just want to remind you that we are recording the forum, and we will have a video of the forum posted on our website, on our Facebook page, and in our newsletter, in our email newsletter. I encourage you to come by the Beaches Watch table, sign up for our newsletter. Also, if you noticed in the program, Beaches Watch is having a survey, and we would encourage you to go to our website and take that survey. We would appreciate your input. And also encourage you to visit the candidate tables once the forum is over with, so you can talk with the candidates one-on-one. And one other thing I want to mention, we have a nice young lady here at our table, Sybil Ansbacher. A lot of you know her. And she has been our champion for the library. She has got some petitions for the library, and she would like for you to consider signing those petitions. Those are at the table. So when you come to the Beaches Watch table, sign the petition, sign up for our newsletter, and take one of our brochures. Oh, well, you want them at the table? No, she's going to be right here at this table. Oh, right, definitely. Go to all the candidate tables and pick up literature. And remember, the election is August 27th, so we hope you'll all plan to vote. And visit our website so you can see the written Q&A that the candidates turned in. And I want to thank you all for coming tonight, and have a wonderful evening.